Imagine a world where football existed, but magic didn't. A world where goals were just goals, records were just numbers, and greatness belonged to the past. Now imagine two boys, one from the quiet streets of Rosario, Argentina, and the other from the rugged island of Madeira, Portugal, rising like storms at the exact same time. Not because they were chosen, not because destiny was written, but because the universe needed them. This isn't the story of Ronaldo. This isn't the story of Messi. This is the story of a rivalry so powerful, so unstoppable, so era-defining, that it didn't just split the world, it rebuilt football from the ground up. Tonight, we're not comparing. We're not debating. We're entering the battlefield where greatness met greatness, and humanity witnessed the most beautiful war in sports history. Welcome to the real story of Ronaldo versus Messi, the battle that changed football forever. Cristiano Ronaldo's journey began far from luxury, far from fame, far from the shining stadium lights. In Madeira, a young boy chased a ball through narrow streets, driven not by dreams of glory, but by a fire born from struggle. He wasn't the tallest, he wasn't the strongest, but he had something far more dangerous: obsession. Ronaldo trained when others slept, ran when others rested, and dreamed when others doubted. Every hardship pushed him further. Every setback forged him harder. Football wasn't a sport for him, it was survival. Messi's world was different. In Rosario, a shy kid with a ball attached to his foot played with a level of magic that no one could understand. But beneath the magic was a silent battle, a body that refused to grow, a medical condition that turned every day into uncertainty. And yet, when Messi touched the ball, none of that mattered. His dribbles weren't just movements, they were expressions of heart, of hope, of something divine. Barcelona took a chance on him, signing him on a napkin. That single moment didn't just save Messi's career, it saved football from losing one of its greatest artists. Two stories, two continents, two destinies rushing toward each other without knowing what the world was preparing for them. When Ronaldo arrived at Manchester United, the world noticed the flair, the stepovers, the confidence of a young man who didn't fear expectations. He was raw, electric, unpredictable, a storm learning how to control its thunder. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, Ronaldo evolved from a flashy winger into a ruthless weapon. Every season, he sharpened himself, sculpted himself, and transformed into a force that could crush defenders with speed, power, and unbreakable mentality. Meanwhile, Barcelona was quietly shaping their future. Pep Guardiola took a young Messi and placed him into one of the greatest football systems ever created. Messi's understanding of space, movement, and timing grew with every match. He wasn't just talented, he was transcendent. Watching him move felt like watching a painter brush colors into the sky. He didn't beat defenders, he erased them. He didn't score goals, he whispered them into existence. Everything changed in 2009. Ronaldo arrived at Real Madrid for a world record fee. This wasn't just a signing, it was the beginning of the greatest rivalry sports had ever seen. Spain became the battlefield, La Liga the arena, and every weekend, the world stopped to watch two legends compete for immortality. Ronaldo versus Messi wasn't just a debate, it was an experience. Messi glided effortlessly, a magician defying gravity with every touch. Ronaldo exploded with terrifying power, an athlete who turned impossible angles into goals. Messi's dribbles felt like poetry written on grass. Ronaldo's goals felt like rockets breaking the laws of physics. Barcelona represented art. Real Madrid represented ambition. And in the center stood two titans who didn't ask for rivalry but embraced it like destiny. Every time Messi scored a hat-trick, Ronaldo answered with 4. Every time Ronaldo broke a record, Messi shattered another. They forced each other into greatness. They elevated each other to heights that once seemed unreachable. Their rivalry wasn't fueled by hatred, but by respect. Silent respect. Powerful respect. The kind only warriors understand. El Clásico became more than a football match. It became a cultural war. Messi silencing the Bernabeu with his calmness. Ronaldo telling 90,000 Barcelona fans to calma with his ice-cold celebration. These weren't moments. These were chapters of a myth. Kids didn't ask who won the match. They asked who scored more, who assisted more, who shined brighter. Behind closed doors, both worked like maniacs. Messi perfecting his dribbling, reading the game like a chess grandmaster. Ronaldo pushing his body beyond human limits, sculpting himself into an athlete nature had no blueprint for. One trained like a scientist, the other played like a poet. One relied on force, the other relied on finesse. But together, they redefined the limits of what football could be. As the years passed, their legacies grew. Ronaldo conquered England, Spain, Italy, and Europe. Messi conquered Barcelona, South America, and eventually the world. Messi lifted the World Cup in a moment that felt like the universe gifting him a crown he had earned 1,000 times. Ronaldo became the highest goal scorer in the history of football, a record built on discipline and relentless self-belief. But something incredible happened when the rivalry began to fade. When Ronaldo moved to Juventus, and then Manchester United, when Messi went to PSG, and then Inter Miami, fans realized they had witnessed something once in a lifetime. All the arguments, all the comparisons, all the debates suddenly felt small, because people finally understood that Ronaldo and Messi didn't divide football, they completed it. For more than 15 years, they made every season historic. They made every game unpredictable. They made every young kid fall in love with football. Without Ronaldo, Messi would have been unmatched. Without Messi, Ronaldo would have stood alone. Together, they created the greatest era the sport has ever known. Their rivalry taught the world that greatness isn't born. It is built, pushed, challenged, sharpened. Messi taught us that genius can be soft, quiet, effortless. Ronaldo taught us that genius can be loud, powerful, earned. Two kings ruling the same kingdom from different thrones. And one day, when both hang their boots for the final time, the world will not remember the debates. It will remember the magic, the goals, the moments, the feeling that anything was possible every time these two stepped onto a pitch. Because in the end, Ronaldo versus Messi wasn't a fight. It was a gift, a blessing in the timeline of football. A rivalry that didn't just change careers, it changed the sport forever. And long after the stadiums go silent, one question will echo across generations. Who was the greater one? The truth is simple. The answer doesn't matter, because football already won.